Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe True Love. Here to bring you another episode or an AEW Dynamite review for December 16th, 2020. Was a odd, I would say, episode of Dynamite. It was filled with tag team matches. We had Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela in the main event. We also got news, as you can see by thumbnail, that on December 30th, to close out 2020 for AEW Dynamite, it's going to be Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix for the AEW World Championship. Also, I want to say, because he showed up on Impact Wrestling on Tuesday night again, Kenny Omega. So in the main event, it was Carl Anderson versus Chris Sabin of the Motor City Machine Guns. And Carl Anderson won the match. Afterwards, he was congratulated by the Impact World Champion, Rich Swann. And so he was being helped to the back, and then all of a sudden, Carl Anderson decked Rich Swann with a right punch, and so the Motor City Machine Guns came in to help out Rich Swann, but out of nowhere, Doc Gallows, or Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson's partner, the Good Brothers, he came in, and then Kenny Omega out of nowhere hits Rich Swann in the head with a wet floor sign, it appeared. And it was announced for their next pay-per-view, January 16th, at Hard to Kill. That'll be Kenny Omega with his former Bullet Club partners, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and Kenny Omega, versus Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns in a 6-man tag team match in the main event of Hard to Kill. So very interesting. Now, with that news, let's get into the episode of AEW Dynamite. Excuse me. So, start out with a 6-man tag team match, as you can tell by the thumbnail. An abundance of tag team matches, and this was the first. It was Hangman Adam Page, John Silvers, and Alex Reynolds versus Matt Hardy with Private Party. This was an okay tag team match. It was kind of gimmicky, considering how Silvers and Reynolds, they got personality, and stemming from last week, how they go with Hangman and Page and letting them be their partners, and their attempt to get on Hangman's good side and recruiting him to the Dark Order. So that was a touch. And part of the storyline was last week in the Battle Royal, or a couple weeks ago in the Battle Royal, it was Matt Hardy that he eliminated Isaiah Cassidy, and Hangman eliminated Matt Hardy. So I had a few storylines going in this match. So there were some So leading towards the later part of the match, it was a big clothesline by Hangman on Cassidy for a 2 count. Then Matt Hardy made his way into the match. A side effect by Hardy for a 2 count. Then a neckbreaker suplex by Reynolds for a 2 count. And then there's back and forth, triple team cohesion by Silver's Reynolds and Hangman, which led to a near fall. And then Private Party and Matt Hardy won the match with Gin and Juice, but Matt tagged in and scored the pinfall victory. And thus, Matt Hardy and Private Party, little dissension there. Continuing. Excuse me, Varsity. But Matt Hardy and Private Party score a victory on Dynamite. This was an okay match. I mean, the storylines, so and so. Further storylines, kind of in my opinion, we're kind of getting to perhaps Matt Hardy being heel in the future. Question is when, and what is, of course, is the dilemma or the agenda with Hangman and the Dark Order. So after that, we had an Inner Circle interview backstage, talking about, so MJF had a plaque. First of all, Wardlow was there. Not there. Not sure if they said he had COVID or an injury or something, but hopefully he's okay and he gets back ASAP. So the Inner Circle was interviewed by Marviz. MJF had a plaque showing that the New York Times touted the Dinner Debonair segment between Jericho and MJF as segment of the year. So MJF was there. He was taking all the glory pretty much, but throwing little hints, little jabs at Jericho while trying to be as celebratory as he could by thanking the other members of the Inner Circle kind of the way he could, leading into their match later, which will, instead of being a 14-man tag team match, it's a 6 or 12-man tag, so and so. But then we had a Cody Rhodes versus Angelico. This was a fine match. Again, kind of a prelude backdrop to what happened after. First of all, congratulations to Cody Rhodes and Brandy. Apparently, they're expecting their first child in 2021. So, congrats to them. As far as this match goes, it was okay. And Angelico, he's talented. Cody Rhodes, we know how he is. Angelico went for the Navarro death roll, but Cody got to the ropes. And then Cody finished with the Cody Cutter for the win. Afterwards, Team Taz came out. to congratulate Cody. Mentioned Darby, who is in the stands. And I'm not sure where he was. He looked like might have been on the other side of the arena than where he usually is. But, excuse me. So, they talked about how they're going to come to ring and beat up Cody. Then, lights went out. Sting's music came out. And he came out and thwarted off the members of Team Taz. Looked at Cody, looked at Darby, gave a wink to Cody. Again, I'm curious what his agenda is. Perhaps match Cody, match with Dart, I'm not sure. But something's gonna happen between them three. It's just the thing you like about AEW though is their unpredictability. And the only thing I'm worried about is 3 weeks in a row we've seen Sting. And I'm all worried they might overdo it with Sting. I mean, we've seen him 3 weeks in a row. That's my only concern. But was an okay match. Yeah, I'm so curious what the step after that will go to, but okay segment, I guess. So next, Miro was interviewed by Marvez backstage. He announced that. So Marvez asked him because he was fined $75,000 for the attacks on the security last week, and that it's Christmas. They have families. What are you thinking? And then Miro shouted something in Bulgaria. So then he announced that next week at the Holiday Bash for AEW, they'll make their announcement for the wedding for Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. So finally some regression or progression in this phase. I'm just kind of hoping it ends real quick and Miro can move on to better things. Same with the best friends. He was also asked about Orange Cassidy and he said, well, Orange Cassidy doesn't care. And yeah. So then we had Eddie Kingston. He came out. He addressed his enemies. He said, well, they injured Pac, injured his neck, and that he won't be back. Then he addressed Lance Archer, and Lance Archer's music played, and then he came out. He and Kingston brawled for a little bit, and then Butcher and Blade came out to save Eddie Kingston. Then all of a sudden, the Lucha Brothers came out, and then Pac showed up out of nowhere, and the Death Triangle came in for a save for Lance Archer. There was dissension between Archer and Pac because both wanted the last bit of Kingston, but Kingston and Butcher and Blade snuck away. So I'm guessing that they're building towards a triple threat match of sorts soon between Archer, Kingston, and Pac. But Archer and that triangle is so tall. So curious where this leads, but I guess progression in this storyline is so and so. So then we had a Dustin Rhodes interview. He was asked about the invitation of the Dark Order last week, and Dustin said 7 was a mistake, and that I told you, the Dark Order, that one by one you will fall. Last week it was 10, and Evil Uno, you're next, and he challenged him to a match next week. So next week we're going to get a match between Evil Uno and Dustin Rhodes. Should be interesting. We know how well both can go, so should be a unique match, I would say. So then we had the cluster of the night, the episode, basically. So we had the 12-man tag team match that was, of course, supposed to be 14, but Wardlow, hope he gets better ASAP. So it was the Inner Circle, the 6 members of the Inner Circle, first the Best Friends, the Varsity Blondes, and Top Flight. And of course, you were wondering, why was Orange Cassidy? Because he was supposed to be in this match. Well, he was chilling on commentary, fumbling around with the headset. So, funny business. So, I mean, this was okay. I mean, so many men, so many competitors in one match. It's a cluster. And given a short amount of time for everyone to get any offense in. So, of course, chaos broke loose. Everyone was brawling with each other. There was a dive by Dante Martin to the outside onto Santana Ortiz. The faces had the advantage late. Soul Food combination by Best Friends. So it was Jake Hager and I believe Griff Garrison. Yeah, Griff Garrison. They were by themselves in the ring. MJF, unbeknownst to Aubrey Edwards, the referee, hit Garrison off the ropes with the bat. And then Hager hit it was sloppy, but his version of the F10 um, on Wardlow's finishing move. It looked sloppy, but he connected with it on Griff Garrison. And then MJF, who's on the tag ropes, tagged him in, and MJF got the pin, the victory. The Inner Circle won. Afterwards, Top Flight, Dante, and I forgot his other name, sorry, but they attacked MJF and Jericho after the bell. And apparently, we're getting a match between Chris Jericho and MJF for Top Flight. So, intriguing, and yet another tag team match. I'm just like, geez. So, afterwards, we had Thunder Rosa. She addressed Britt Baker. Talked about how Britt said Rosa doesn't belong here. So Rosa was laughing, and then all of a sudden comes Reba. She got in Rosa's face. And then you just knew that if Reba was there, Britt was going to show up from behind or something. Britt attacked her from behind. They had a bottle of water, poured it all over her face, messed up some of the face paint that Rosa wears. Afterwards, Britt Baker asks if the camera still works, or if her ugly face broke it. So there was that. Obviously, these two are feuding, and we're going to get a match. I mean, Britt Baker has shown some progression, and Rosa is kind of the top female in the company right now. So I guess if you want Britt to get some more progression and get her to where you want her to be, feud her with Rosa. Basically, I don't know. But they're prolonging the storyline, basically. So, yeah. So, next we got SCU versus The Acclaimed. This is kind of funny because Max Caster and Frankie Kazarian were having sort of a rap battle prior to the match, which was alright. I mean, yeah, nothing much. But this was an alright match. I was just like annoyed because there were so many tag team matches on the card. But this kind of felt like a little fresh air, I would say. So Kazarian was beat down by The Acclaimed. Was a springboard DT by Kazarian. He got the hot tag to Daniels. Daniels cleaned house, went for hit the blue thunder bomb for a near fall, and then he and Anthony Bowen were exchanging at the end of the match. But Caster, because they had a boombox with a, he hit Daniels in the face with a boombox, and then Bowen followed up with a, I would say like a Uranagi to a T-bone slam for the win, and the Acclaimed beat SCU. Afterwards, they called out the Young Bucks who were at ringside. And apparently we're going to get the two teams facing each other next week. For tag team titles. So, this was the Acclaim's 8th win. And apparently they're now in the top 5. So, it makes some sense as far as the rankings go. But, I mean, I don't know. This match may be too quick. But obviously they see something in the Acclaim with Max Caster and Anthony Bowen. And then what do you know? Another tag team match. Ivelisse and Diamante for Big Swole, Serena Deeb. I mean, this wasn't much. I mean, look. Ivelisse, Diamante, they're both really good. Big Swole and Serena Deeb. I mean, Serena Deeb, we know she's great. Big Swole, obviously they see something in her. She's missing something. She's not. I mean, when you look at these 4, the outlier is Big Swole. I mean, she doesn't really fit with these other 3. But getting into the end of the match, Big Swole won, applying the Texas Cloverleaf to Diamante. Diamante tapped out. They got the win. So-and-so. Match. Diamante, surprisingly, one of the better looking women on the roster, I will say. So, after that, so we get to the main event. So, Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela in a no disqualification. And they announced, Just Roberts announced it as a world title eliminator. So at first I was curious, but then they explained it how Joey Janela was supposed to face Kenny Omega in the world title eliminator tournament, but Janela was a close contact to someone who had COVID, so Sunkiss took his place, and there was that match instead. So I enjoyed the attention to detail. It's kind of unique jab there. So Omega was making his entrance, and then Janelle blessed him with a trash can. And then this was all kind of gimmicky. It was kind of a glorified squash match. You know, Callis He is providing his own commentary. Omega, he took the phone or microphone and provided his commentary as well while he's beating the crap out of Janela. I mean, Omega beat him down with a cookie sheet. Janela hit him with a leg drop through a table. At the end of the match, Omega was like, screw it, and then hit the one-winged angel on Janela for the win. Afterwards, Death Triangle came out. Pac said he and Omega have unfinished business, but he's not going to be selfish. He talked about how Phoenix never lost in the tournament, so how does that make him the rightful champion? So he announced that he talked to Tony Khan, and that on December 30th for the AEW World Championship, Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix should be a fun match. What a way to end the year. So that was the episode. I mean, decent show. Too many tag team matches. No King main event. Looking forward to the next 2 weeks. But if you liked it, like and subscribe. If you're new, same as well. Thank you all. And I'll see you on Tuesday.